I hate all of you.
Hey there, it's Laria. In this video, I'll talk about leveling from 50 to 60 if you main a Resto Druid, and some of the things you should do once you hit 60. I'll also let you know what I've been up to as a Resto Druid main, which, as a side note, involves me playing Balance and Guardian. If you main Resto, then I really recommend leveling as either Balance or Guardian depending on what your gear is like and how fast you want to level. I leveled as Balance because I leveled with a group, so the tank would just pull everything we needed for a quest and all the other DPS would go and click on the interactive items that were needed for a quest, and the tank would just sit there and do damage and kill everything. Leveling with a group is not required, and it all depends on the group that you're with and how fast those players are. My group wasn't really interested in speed leveling to 60, but we also didn't want to waste any time. I was not the first person in my guild to hit 60, but we did hit 60 early Tuesday morning. My group used an add-on called Azeroth Autopilot. I usually like to solo quest and level on my own, but because I had played beta over the summer and I had already quested through all the zones, and my group wanted to use Azeroth Autopilot, I decided to use it this time. This add-on is really good if you're looking to speed level because it auto-turns in all of your quests. All you do is click on the NPC and it turns it in for you. It also auto-skips all the cinematics, but there's also an option to turn that off if you do want to watch the cinematics. All in all, you can save a lot of time using this add-on if that's what you want to do. Like I said before, I'm usually not someone who likes to rush through leveling and skip everything. The cinematics and the story are my favorite parts of this game. The art and story teams at Blizzard do a phenomenal job, and I like to think of video game stories as the same as books. Video games have a story, they have protagonists and antagonists and conflicts and rising action, so I don't normally use Azeroth Autopilot. But if you want a speed level, I do recommend using Azeroth Autopilot. If you don't want to speed level and you want to enjoy the content, then you don't have to use this add-on. Keep in mind that if you level with a group, there are a lot of quests in the campaign that are not shared in a group, which means that each person in the group has to do their own part and collect items or do whatever they need to do on that quest in order to finish it. This can sometimes slow groups down if you have some players who are a little bit slower than others. Another thing to keep in mind about leveling is that when you hit 60, you might not be done with the entire campaign in the last zone or the second to last zone. In Shadowlands, your first character needs to finish the campaign in every zone in order to then select a covenant. I spent about maybe 45 minutes after I hit level 60 in Revendreth, continuing to quest in Revendreth in order to finish the campaign. When you finish the campaign, make sure you select your covenant and start your covenant campaign. This is what opens up the Maw and Torghast and all the things you need to do to craft your legendaries and get Stygia. Progress as far into your Covenant campaign as you can. This week, you'll also want to do all of the Mythic 0 dungeons. What I mean by Mythic 0 is that you have normal, heroic, and Mythic dungeons, and anything past Mythic is considered Mythic Plus. But since Mythic Plus isn't open this week, the highest level that you can do is a Mythic 0. You can do each dungeon on Mythic difficulty once this week, and then those lockouts reset next week. I've seen a lot of people in my guild and in friends guilds saying that they need to gear up first and they need to get gear from Heroic in order to go in and do Mythic Zeros, and my suggestion is just to skip Heroic and go straight into Mythic Zeros. I mentioned earlier in this video that I played Balance and Guardian over the last few days. This is because I tanked 4 out of the 8 Mythic dungeons at 143 item level. Yes, it hurt a lot, but if you have a group of guildies or friends, or even if you pug a couple of people, as long as all of you are paying attention, you can tough it out and get through Mythic Zeros without having to spend a few hours doing Heroic dungeons first. The way I see it is that if you spend a couple hours doing Heroics just so that you can get gear to then go in and do Mythics, then you're just going to replace all the Heroic pieces that you just got from those Heroic dungeons. Just know that my group did not one-shot every boss. At the very start, when I was trying to figure out how much everything hurt and what I could mitigate as Guardian, we wiped once on each boss in Spires of Ascension. And that's okay. One of my favorite things in this game is tough content. Right now, at the start of a brand new expansion, everything is a little tough. The other 4 dungeons I swapped to Resto. Just know that if you're playing a Resto Druid, dungeons will feel painfully slow. I think I had roughly 11% haste as Resto. Even when I ramped on Trash into Other Side Dungeon, a few players still got really low because my hots just aren't as powerful as they will be when we all have more secondary stats. Mythic Zeros are definitely doable though. The other thing I want to suggest doing after you hit 60 is your dailies in the Maw. You have a daily time limit when you're in the Maw, and it should show up as this extra console-looking thing on your UI. The console is actually not time-based though. It's not based on seconds or minutes. The console fills up as you complete dailies and objectives and quests in the Maw. When I say daily time limit, I'm referring to the total amount of time you can spend in the Maw every single day. There's no way that you can just stay there and be quick and do as many quests as possible, because the console fills up every time you turn a quest in. So when your console fills up and you reach 5 out of 5 tiers, you're done for the day. I would love to hear how everyone is enjoying Shadowlands. Let me know in the comments which class you play and which covenant you ended up picking, or what has been your best experience so far.